Hey, Rutschko.
Hey.
How's it going?
All right.
All right, you got to clarify how to pronounce my first and last name so people know how to say it. So can you say it?
I have to clarify that they want me to. Well, they have the spelling, don't they?
Yeah, they do have the spelling, but that doesn't help.
That doesn't help?
No, no.
All right, well, I'll have to help them out then.
Yeah, please do.
Just tell me when.
Just go ahead.
So the first name is Nikola, and the last name is Dimitrijevic.
Yeah, and that's the one that gives everybody trouble. So you should say the last name again.
Dimitrijevic.
There you go. I grew up outside of Detroit, Michigan, and I started blowing glass at the studio called Michigan Hot Glass, and it was in Pontiac, Michigan at the time. And then a year after I started, it moved to downtown Detroit in this 2.25 million square foot complex, the Russell Industrial Center. When I went down there for the first time, it was like a ghost town, and it started to build this relationship with the city that I didn't have as a kid, and that now kind of is extended into the aesthetic of the work and the things that I'm drawn to in terms of industrial structures like bridges or old marine vessels or just the decay that's part of every industrial town. I like visibly seeing how a structure might be made, not knowing necessarily how it's made, but having an idea of how it's assembled just by looking at it. I like picking it apart. So that stuff is translated into the aesthetic lately. We're going to be done here in a minute. The longer I do this and the better I get at it, the more I seem to focus on the very basic principles of the material and form and exploiting those things. I'm not the first person to slap bubbles together. I'm not the first person to put dots on things. I'm not the first person to do any of this. I'm using basic form, and to me where I can start to make sense of it and try and find a voice is outside of here and trying to make compositions with those simple elements.
Let's go to the bench, Ben.
I made this thing when I was living in Toronto. Before I got here, I was doing a 2-year residency there. And I started this kind of collaborative with a guy who was visiting arts here a year ago, Micah Adams. But he's someone who I've always had a really easy time bouncing ideas off of with, and we share a similar aesthetic. Yeah, the rivets really just kind of signify, again, that allusion to structure. I try to be honest about what I do, and those pieces in particular, they're just what they are. When they're cut and they're done, I'm not trying to make any kind of story with those. This stuff was from one place, and kind of what started me collecting just junk and other people's junk at estate sale. Just it was like a time capsule from, I don't know, maybe the 60s or early 70s. I don't know that many people had even gone into that house. But just stumbling on, I don't know, these 2 boxes of matches, these are all empty and these are all full. So I feel like when people have these collections, they're all about these memories, or they elicit these feelings for themselves. You get to kind of internally make up your own stories about these things as well, because the person's gone.
They wrote on every single slide, June '69, and then they wrote where they were and what they were looking at.
I think inherently those collections have weight to them because someone spent that much time putting them together, and to let them just go, I think, is tragic. It's in my nature to want to organize objects. Again, within all this stuff, it's all this minimal shape and whatever. But I like having a mass of things to be able to give order to. I want to fill those cones with just random stuff that I find at these places, you know. I don't want it to sound cheesy, but in the way that I feel like I feel that we're all connected. I'm not a religious, spiritual kind of guy, but I do believe that I couldn't do the things that I do here on a daily basis without the vocabulary that we've built with each other. That we all work in a similar fashion. And in the way that we affect each other and the outcome of the work, I feel like that's where the multiples in terms of the compositions that I make, that's where that starts to kind of play through. So sparkly.